Welcome to episode 1 of our TraxNYC web series titled Concept of the Rolex. The purpose of this web series is to educate the consumer on the Rolex brand. By the end of the series, you'll not only have a better understanding of Rolex, but be as familiar with the watch line as a certified Rolex dealer. This will give you a great advantage whenever you buy, trade, or sell your Rolex. Getting the right value is particularly important when it comes to this luxury brand. The price of a Rolex can range from around $2,000 to $50,000, with the average price being around $10,000. Regardless of where your purchase will fall within that range, you'll want to make sure you're making it as an educated consumer. You will then have the ability to turn this luxury watch purchase into a wise investment. There are many aspects that determine the price of a Rolex, such as the different types of models, the condition of the timepiece, whether they come with official documents, and more. But above all that, one should possess the ability to recognize a genuine Rolex by sight alone. And that's what episode 1 is all about. Here is an image of 3 watches. One is a popular Rolex, and the other 2 are imitations of varying quality. At this size, it should take an expert no longer than 5 seconds to tell which one is authentic. Well, did you figure it out? Unless you know what to look for, it might not be that easy. Let's take another look at the images and try to find the clues that will help us determine which is the genuine Rolex. The evidence can be found in the details. Rolex manufactures its watches to microscopic precision, so that's what we're looking for in a visual inspection. The Rolex Daytona is one of the most popular Rolex watches on the market because of the chronographs, so it's a fitting choice for this video. See the left chronographs? Image C has completely different numbers than A and B. Unless you know what type of numbers Rolex uses on chronographs, it is nearly impossible to distinguish the genuine Rolex from its imitation based upon the dials. But look closer. On images A and B, the arrow on the chronograph is slightly raised, while on C it is flat on the dial. This would disable the arrow from moving, a blunder that Rolex would never make. This is enough to determine that C is not an authentic Rolex. Let's continue with more details. Looking at the luminators of the watch, which are the parts of the dial that glow in the dark, right away we can see that A and B have nice clean-cut lumens, while C's markers are off-center. They seem to be cut out of a flat sheet of metal. Rolex watchmakers are masters of detail and would never allow such poor workmanship in their products. Now we have enough evidence to determine that C is a cheap knockoff. A and B remain, only one of which is an authentic Rolex. Moving on, the lettering and the Rolex crown is another telltale sign that can give away a watch's authenticity. At first glance, the crowns of these watches look the same, but at a higher resolution, we can see that there is more detailed work on B. Specifically, B's ballpoints at the top of the crown are spherical and have a 3D effect, while on A, the crown seems to simply be cut from a sheet of metal with rounded edges. The lettering on B is sharp without any imperfections, while on A, the lettering looks uneven. All signs point to B being the authentic watch. However, before we make our final decision, one more piece of evidence should confirm our observation. One of the more pleasant details of the design of the Daytona watch is the inscribed word Rolex going around the inner rim of the dial. Upon closer inspection, the word Rolex on A is written in ink, while on B, the word is engraved with a high-resolution laser, a technique only Rolex can implement with specialized equipment. Using these visual clues on the face of the watch, we can determine that watch B is the official Rolex, while A and C are 2 grades of imitation. You should now know the proper way to visually distinguish a real Rolex from an imitation. We learned about the true quality of the Rolex brand and some of the measures they take to ensure luxury. To an untrained eye, a Rolex might seem like an overpriced wristwatch, but from a manufacturing and design point of view, it's a marvel. Even today, the technology used for manufacturing dials for its various models is a closely guarded secret. Specialized equipment has been engineered just to achieve the various properties of each model. Every detail is scrutinized and perfected year after year in advance before the release of a new model. Rolex has been innovating and perfecting its watches on a world-class level for close to 100 years, a feat that cannot be duplicated by a cheap knockoff. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video in our Rolex series.